Hi, I'm Matthew Calhoun.
I'm Kevin Reeves.
And this is our second episode of Biased Facts. Thank you so much for watching our first one. We got over 160 views on it, so that's pretty good for our first outing. Also, we're going to try and split this video up into about 10-minute videos per round, and just to make it more digestible, and also to make editing easier for us, because last time was in fact horrible. It was pretty bad. But yeah, thanks for checking us out. Also, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything and everything almost. We're working on a Tumblr and a website right now, so keep in touch with us on that. And yeah, so rate, like, comment below, and let us know what you think. And on with the show.
Hello, I'm Braden Baumbach, and here we are on the set of Biased Facts. Here with us today are three contestants here to discuss all of the intricacies of books and all things they might entail. Let's meet our contestants.
I'm Morgan Hughes.
I'm Faith Noster.
And I'm Hannah South.
Good stuff. And we are
Biased Facts.
Nailed it! So, for our first question for today, our only question for today, because that's how we're doing this, I want to know, what book do you guys think everyone should have read in their lifetime?
I put down Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I put down To Kill a Mockingbird.
And I said Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay. I personally think that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a really great novel just because it's pretty short and it's easy to read. So even if you don't like reading, it's not like a hassle. Plus, it's about a man who has two personalities, and I think like his personality during the day is a really good guy, and he does good things, and he's a doctor, and his personality at night is this awful guy, and he just kind of like gets into all this mischief. And I think it's kind of cool because it's just saying like no one's ever like just a really good person or just a really bad person. Like we all make mistakes, and I just think it's kind of cool to see that he like, even though these two personalities, like one of them is just purely good and one of them is just purely evil, they're both in the same person. So he has both a good side and a bad side.
It's pretty deep. And Faith?
So in case like you haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird, because some people don't read in high school, it's a real thing. The story focuses on the Finch family. There's like a 6-year-old girl named Scout, Jim, and Atticus, which is their dad, and he's a lawyer. And it just basically talks about how Jim and Scout befriend a boy named Dill, and they talk about this next door neighbor called Arthur Boo Radley, and how they just fantasize about how awful he is because like no one's seen him in town, and it's been like years, and like there are very few people who've seen him. So they're kids, and so they fantasize this big thing about like how bad he is and like why is he in a house and stuff like that. And so it talks about them, and then it talks about Atticus Finch, who is just Atticus Finch is awesome, and he's appointed to a case by Judge Taylor to defend Tom Robinson. He's an African American who was accused of raping a young white girl, Mayella Ewell. I'm sorry, that's not a name, but let's continue. And so it just like the story follows the trial of that, and I just really like it because one, it just talks about prejudice and how on both accounts of African Americans, and like we have this guy, and I don't like ruining books, even though I'm about to, whatever. I don't like ruining books, and I really want y'all to read this, but like Tom Robinson is accused of something that he didn't do, and it's because he is black. And the book is set into 1930s, and so it's back still when racism is still here today. So it's set back to where if you get accused of something, you're gonna be like tried for it. You're gonna he's convicted, and it just talks about that. It talks about the loss of innocence and how Jim and Scout watch their father defend this man, and in the end it doesn't go the way that they want it to, and it's just kind of the loss of innocence of like, wow, the justice system sometimes doesn't work. And it talks about Rachel and justice. Dang it, friends. It talks about racial injustice. And it talks about courage and compassion. And just, to put that in there, a poll by the Museum, Library, and Archives, MLA, which we use every day in essays, what up, in which librarians took a poll around the country to see which book should every adult read before they died. The first one was To Kill a Mockingbird, followed by the Bible, and then followed by Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
Right.
Okay, well, I said Pride and Prejudice because I feel like I think a lot of guys see it as like a chick novel, but really like everyone can relate to it because, I mean, Mr. Darcy is like what every girl wants and what every guy should strive to be like because, I mean, even though like at first you don't like him, he turns out to be this really like lovable guy and like he, you know, no matter like what like social standing you were, like he like fell in love with her and like changed for her. And I think it's just a really great book that everyone should read because it's kind of like that ideal relationship and ideal like what you really want, and it's just something that everyone can relate to.
Well, that's good stuff. So, now I kind of want to ask you guys a follow-up question.
Okay.
Keep you on your toes. What about your book? What do you think your book has that the other two don't?
Am I gonna go
Mm.
first? Okay. Well, I just think that my book has an element to it that's more like not necessarily supernatural, but it's kind of like this eerie novel, and I think it's very interesting for both females and like males because like it's just I don't know it's like weird and it's like a mystery throughout the novel and you don't know that he has two personalities and you just think like there's this mystery going on, and so I don't know, I guess like mystery.
Oh man, it's so hard because I love like all three of these books. But I think for my book, something that because I reread it and it makes me sad. But this like so much of what's in the book today is happening, and like we can look on the news and there are still so many people who are being tried for crimes that they didn't do or being handled by policemen like in a unfair and an unjust way, and there's such a loss of innocence like all the time. And I just feel like it made me really sad that this book was this book was published in the 1960s. It was set in the 1930s, but it still happens today. Like this is still so relevant, and it makes me sad, but it's like look at this, like if they can figure out a way to make a book like this relevant, then I still think like we have so far to like deal with this subject. And I think like this book has a happy ending, and I think we like can have a happy ending as well. So
Well, I think that like Pride and Prejudice is relevant. It's relevant today for like all young people, even like people that are already like like married and things. But it's a good role, like an example for like the relationship that you want to have. And like Mr. Darcy is this like gentleman, and he's like he's like the prime example of what a gentleman should be and like what he should do. And it's just a good like standard for women and for guys to like that's what you should strive for, and you shouldn't settle for less. And I think that's just it's really neat to like have that role like or that example in your life that should still be relevant today. It's not just back then like people like are very chivalrous, but like that should be the way it is today.
Man, that's a lot of relevance to today, and that actually makes this really hard to choose a winner. But I think I'm gonna give it to Kill a Mockingbird. Fake Noster, everybody.
Kill that.
This swag.
I actually killed it.